All right, welcome everyone. My name is Dayana Mayfield, and I'm the head of content here at Design Files. I am back with another live event. Every month, we love to feature the people of Design Files, pro interior designers, and experts in running a design or creative business. We discuss the current challenges you're facing and no BS lessons to help you streamline and grow your business. Today, we are joined by the incomparable Nancy Ganzekaufer. Nancy is a sought after business coach, speaker, body language trainer, and author. She specializes in coaching interior designers and service based entrepreneurs, teaching them to maximize their profitability while serving their ideal clients with confidence. Welcome, Nancy. So happy to have you.
So happy to be here, Diana. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So today, guys, we are switching things up. We are doing things a little differently to ring in the new year. So we have selected 4 participants to be coached by Nancy, and they are here waiting in the wings. We will talk about pricing for luxury services and accessible services, pricing as a team, remodel projects, and so much more. But before we dive into these hot seat coaching sessions, let's set the scene a little bit. So, Nancy, can you tell me why January is a super good time to review our pricing structures?
January is a good time to do a lot of things in your life, but the key is that you don't just do it and promise yourself you're going to do it, but you actually follow through with it, right? So, in the last 2 years, what's happened in the world, in our industry, is changed so much. And there are still so many designers that haven't raised their prices, don't have the confidence to raise their prices, have a mindset issue of, well, if the economy is doing not so well and some clients are having difficulty, maybe I shouldn't even try to sell to them, maybe I shouldn't even try to contact them. But really, the interior design industry has seen a boom over the 2022, right? And 2021. And now's the time to keep the momentum going. So to relook at your prices, making sure that the prices you've set in the past year has made every single job profitable. People aren't doing that. They're not like analyzing their jobs after and going, was this profitable or was this not? And is it between a 40 and 60% profitability? If every single job is at a 40 to 60% profitability, then overall your company's going to be doing pretty well. So it's kind of like daylight savings time. You check your batteries in your detectors. It's
Right.
time to take a look at your pricing and saying, well, let's set the year fresh. And psychologically, your clients actually get that. New year, new pricing.
Yeah, love
Right?
that. So now is the time. Now is definitely the time. I'd love for you to chat with us about your hybrid pricing model. That way, we kind of are all on the same page as we're hearing some of your advice. So, give us an intro to what hybrid pricing is and why you recommend it.
Okay, so I was trying to find a statistic here that I should have gotten before I went live, but it's somewhere between 60 and 80% of design firms are still using a hybrid model, which is a flat design fee, meaning it's $5,000 for me to create design boards, present you all the products that I would like you to purchase, and sign off on it. And then you enter the project management stage. So flat fee for design, because you have more control over that time. You might be really fast at sourcing. You might be really slow because you're a newbie and you don't want the client to feel the effects of your own learning curve. That is the time where you have more control. You can either make great money or you might make a little less as your learning curve comes up. But let's present that as a flat fee so a client doesn't say to us, well, what do you mean it takes you an hour to find a sofa? Like, you're a designer. Why can't you just find it? Like, they think we have thousands and thousands of suppliers in our head that we can just go, oh, that's the one. They don't realize. So flat fee for the design side where you have control. And as you get better at sourcing, you can make more money hourly for yourself than you've ever made before. When it comes to the project management section of a design job, ordering, tracking, delivery, damages, finishing touches, punch lists at the end, dealing with contractors, painters, all that. So much is out of your control during the project management phase that a lot of people are really getting screwed by the fact that it's taking 2 years for furnishings to come in, or 9 months. And if you charge a flat fee during the design phase, often I'm hearing from my clients and my Profit Insider group program that, like, now I'm making no money. I charged a flat fee and now it's going on for another year, and it's basically a loss leader. And what happens there is that you lose your joy of doing your job. You're not making enough money, you're going to lose your joy. So what I try to do with my one-on-one, my Profit Insiders, and anyone who's in my coaching world is get you to be profitable so that you can enjoy your business again and provide exemplary service to match your pricing so that the clients understand why you're so valuable.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I love this model because it sounds like you're maximizing, what you can control and getting more efficient with your design, what you can control. And then you're, making sure that you're not getting, like you said, screwed with what you can't control. So it makes perfect sense. And understanding that will help us as we kind of chat with our hot seat participants. So we are going to dive right into our coaching sessions. I am going to add Lisa Friend to the screen. Lisa, I think, let's see you. Oh, I can unmute you here. Could you unmute? Mm-hmm. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So Lisa Friend is our first hot seat participant. She is starting a new luxury design business and is completing her first full home design project on a multi-million-dollar house that will help put her new business on the map. She's working on winning a new project for a 5,500 square foot luxury custom home and wants to make sure her pricing is set up correctly. She also wants to get feedback on how she plans to estimate the total costs and collect fees. So without further ado, I give a warm welcome to Lisa, and I'm going to let Nancy take it away, and I will hop back on the screen later. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready?
I am. Let's go.
All right. So I got a small preview of what your issue was, but like I told you before we went live, I read it a week ago and I decided not to read it again because I like to ask questions. So Tell everybody where you're from.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay. So in Charlotte, do you currently run your business as a pricing model of what? Flat fee, hourly, or hybrid?
I am doing hybrid.
Oh, yay. Okay. Okay. Because one of you I thought was doing flat fee and I'm like, oh, they're not going to be happy with what I say. Okay. What is your question about pricing?
Well, I want to make sure for this particular project, which essentially is my first major project as a new business. So I want to get this right so I can get on the map. And not sell myself short. So the house is brand new, never lived in. It was built by the builder for himself, and then circumstances caused him to need to sell it. So currently there are some buyers looking into it. I want to be ready for whichever buyer gets it. The realtor and I have already partnered that he will introduce me to them because he likes my work. And so I'm actually currently working on my contract with my attorney so that I'll have that all set. And then preparing a presentation for them that will be very personalized specifically to this house. And so I've looked at Sandra Funk's pricing model, and also another famous designer, Terry.
Terry Taylor. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's it. Mm-hmm. And then also one other one. But anyway, they each have a little bit of an interesting variety. I think what appeals to me the most is Sandra Funk's. She does not ask for their budget because she says they don't really know what things cost. Yes. And so then I learned from Terry is that she just kind of goes in with in her mind, the square footage and what is her happy spot of per square foot pricing that she likes to design in. And since I'm a luxury one, I've kind of broken down the pricing from square foot and then what percentage that would be of the actual cost of the house in relation. Because I noticed online that typically people will spend 10 to 50% of the cost of a home on their design budget. And
Okay,
so
you're going from all types of research that you're doing.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
To try
Call
to
me
right I'm going to rein you in, okay? To try to piecemeal together all
Yeah.
these different business models and go, which one's going to work for me?
Right.
And I'm going to tell you to put blinders on.
Yep.
And what does Lisa need to make to do this job right? Okay. So the hybrid model is something that is outlined very clearly. We have a product called The Key, the Ultimate Designer's Pricing Tool. We're going to go work through it today. Okay.
Great.
And Leslie, my associate coach, is here in the chat. And if anyone's interested in taking a glance at The Key, I'll ask her to put the landing page in. But I'm going to try to share my screen actually and show you a little bit about this because I think it's going to help you a lot. And it doesn't mean you have to buy the key. You can actually do this on a piece of paper yourself from what I show you. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen. Okay. I'm not sure which screen it's going to share because it seems to. Aha. Okay, good. It's giving me a choice. Excellent. Okay. Can you see it yet?
Yes, it's fine print, but I can see it.
Okay, so basically, what do you consider your hourly rate?
200.
Okay, so on the front page, on the tab that says start here, 200.
Mhm.
Do you add a percentage for white glove delivery?
That is a question to be answered, but I have a feeling yes.
Okay, I'm adding 18%. In your state, do you have to charge a tax for services?
Great question.
Right now, we're going to put 0. I'm not sure of your state particularly. And what is your sales tax rate on product?
7.25%.
7.25. So this is the product called The Key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool. On the first page, the start here is where you put all your numbers. And then you're doing full service decorating. At least that's what you're hoping to do with them, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you would go over to the full service decorating tab. We have a remodel tab and a new build tab, but let's just do this one. I think it's more appropriate for you. And what we've done here, Leslie Myrick and I, who is my associate coach, like I said, she's in the chat. We culled together years of experience. So you would be able to go down and go, okay, the dining room, no custom builds in there. It's on average 25 hours, but you know what? I'm a little different. I do things a little different. I'm going to make that 30 hours. We're just giving you recommendations here. This is the design phase. You see the top of the column? Okay, so you figure out all the hours you would need for the design phase. And I'm just going to throw some numbers in here, Lisa, for the sake of you seeing how this works. Then project management hours, very similar to the design hours. Now, when you present this to the client, you're not going to show them the number of hours you used to calculate the design. But if they're looking for an overall estimate of how much this is going to cost me, you can fill this whole thing out. And we're going to go again. I'm going to go random here. Okay. So the dining room is going to be 30 hours for the design phase. And to project management, it didn't need much besides the furniture. So ordering, tracking, delivery, finishing touches. I'm going to put 20 there, but we give you guidelines. So if you're completely clueless, when you scroll down to the bottom, it is now showing you total design hours, 55 hours for $11,000 because it's pulling from your hourly rate that you want to get. If you were to get 50% up front to start the design phase, 50% for the 3 days prior to presentation, and then they sign off. Let's pretend it all went perfect and they loved everything, okay? They signed off. Then you can also tell them it's about 40 hours for project management. This is when you're going to switch to hourly, okay, project management. So you can say it's going to be between 40 and 60 hours. Let's start with 8,000. I can take that in an installment of 4, bill you again for another 4. Or if it's a very large project like you're really dealing with here, Lisa, you can say, as the most amount of money you can give me up front, the better, because then I'm not in billing mode all the time and you're not in writing check mode. Okay. So it depends on the personality of the client, and it depends on how much they trust you. Okay. So to me, you should be taking every area, deciding if it's custom or standard, figuring out how many hours the design phase takes, presenting that as the design phase, telling them what the deliverables for the design phase will be and when. So, for example, we're going to come in with industry partners and do a trade day, and that's going to be us there all day. Then we're going to do a conceptual design. You'll have that within 3 to 5 weeks, but you put a date on the calendar so that you're held accountable. And then you go on and into the project management section where you go, I'm going to give an advance on hours. I will work backwards from there, and I will give you a weekly report on what was done this week, what's planning on being done next week, and how many hours you have remaining once you hit that project management side.
Like that.
It's a little bit of a pain. I'm not going to say it's not. People hate tracking their hours, but without tracking your hours,
yeah, you have to. Yeah.
You need statistics.
Yeah.
Okay. You need statistics to be able to know how long things take you and what you need to improve upon. So, questions about this, Lisa? Like, how do you feel about this whole idea of using a hybrid model that is based on hours, but then again, you're tweaking it and you're upping it for everything you need?
Yeah, I like it. I always like things that make it very transparent for the client and easy formula for me.
Right, but this is a behind the scenes document, so you don't want to share this with them.
Correct, but
if they
that
ask
it
you
reassures the
questions,
client. It reassures the client that we have a systematic way. We're not just like, I think it'll be this or that.
right? And I just want to quickly address the square footage model. I have a big problem with square footage model because if I have a very small living room or a living room that's double the size, but it's still the same amount of pieces, the same amount of decisions, the same amount of sourcing, the same amount of industry partners. You still need a window treatment person, a painter, a carpet guy. You're going to get paid less if you're calculating a dollar amount on a square footage than you would be by just sitting with yourself and going, how long is this stuff going to take me to do? Okay. And as I just want to address one other thing, because it might have been something I read for one of you that are coming up today. It's also hard to do it as a percent of the price of the house or the percent of a construction, because it changes constantly, the price of the construction. So what happens is you end up starting to follow the contractor and go, well, did you just upsell them those special custom cabinets? Now, where's my percentage of that? And it's just a messy business model. I want, and this is what I teach all my profit insiders, simple business model, because what you do is so complicated.
Yes. Got it.
Okay.
And
so
how do you figure out, because me being new and slower than someone who's seasoned, the guesswork of how long is this going to take me in actuality versus what I am estimating may be entirely different.
Well, that's part of the reason why we created the key. So between Leslie and I is, I don't even know how many, 35 years of experience. She's a still active working interior designer, and I've worked with interior designers now 25 years. I was able to say how long it should be taking on average. And if you're a newer designer, go with the averages and then calculate your hours every step of the way. And then you'll realize, do I need to speed up my sourcing? My learning curve is still making me slower. So I might have made a little less than $200 an hour on that job, but it's okay with me because I knew this was a learning experience. But I don't want you to lower your rate just to get the job. Because something you said in the beginning, I think I wrote it down. This would put me on the map, you said. And I thought, red flag, because if you are already emotionally attached to getting that job, you're walking into the consult or the presentation already at a disadvantage. Your tone of voice, your body language, everything's going to relay what's really going on in your head, whether you know it or not.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So try to get emotionally unattached from the outcome best you can. I know it's hard, but I always tell this story. The first time I did a webinar, I really cared about whether people were going to sign up. And I tried too hard and I sold nothing. My son at the time said, just don't give a hoot, Mom. Like, just be you, don't care. And one minute I didn't care, I sold so much more, or sold some. I don't remember, probably 3 or 4, but it was, for me back then, it was a lot. So your mindset, your first impressions, your confidence is what's going to drive whether you are most of the time successful in making a presentation at a high rate. But a 500 square foot custom home would be so cool. Don't feel like you have to give up services to get that job.
No. I think I'm just excited that my first job can be a home like this that will be fantastic for my portfolio. And I totally get not being emotionally attached. This may just be one great learning experience, practice, and that's the right one will come at the right time. But I think that's what I meant by it. But I do appreciate not getting emotionally attached to the outcome.
Yes. And one of the other things is the key can calculate for you a rough range if you're in the good, better, best, and your clients are in the best category for their furnishings, and they're like, well, how much am I going to have to spend in furnishings? If they ask you that, the key also gives you the ability to put in your own good, better, best, calculate it, and it'll give you those totals. So you can give somebody a proposal before you do the contract. And say, this is what we're looking at, right? And in the key, we give you templates as well for proposals, pretty ones, so you can customize them. But I would suggest get your pricing, the hybrid model, get comfortable with it, tweak it, do your proposal, and then if they say yes, then work on your contract if that's the right order for you. That's what I would suggest.
Okay, great.
Was it helpful today?
I think so. Very much. And of course, I'll have to process, but I appreciate it very much, Nancy. And what I was also going to do was the retainer fee, which would kind of be a flat fee to start the first design.
I don't recommend retainers.
Okay.
I don't recommend. It's just 50% of the design fee in advance to start the project, 50% 3 days prior to your presentation. So when you make your presentation, you are fully paid up. So if it falls apart, God forbid, at least you haven't lost any money. Retainer model, the word retainer to me means I'm getting the money back. So I just don't even get the whole retainer model. It's like if they don't pay, then you take it from the retainer. That's a bill in arrears system. I teach everything bill in advance.
And I guess that's what I've planned to collect everything before I even begin work.
So it's an advance on services. It's not necessarily a retainer.
Okay.
Right? I get this before I start the project. That's not a retainer. That's an advance. That's your fee for starting the project.
Okay. And is you do 50, 30, 20?
Nope, 50% of the design fee to get started, 50% 3 days prior to the presentation. Then on the project management, once you start that process, depending on how many hours, you get as many hours as you can up front, so you can work backwards from there. So I always say no less than 20. But if they love you and you can go, listen, let's just get 50 hours so we don't have to be in billing mode constantly. If it's going to be a year-long project, they know it's going to take long, and so do you. So you just take those hours in advance, and then you work backwards from there, and you ask for another installment when you're running out.
Okay.
That makes sense? All right. And some people do charge and 100% of furnishings before you take on anything.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic questions. Thank you so much, Lisa, and the best of luck with this project.
Yes, good luck. Let me know how it goes.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much. Our next hot seat participant is Julie. Julie Wagner is looking to transition to more remodel projects. She needs help setting rates for conceptual construction drawings that she provides to clients for both bath and kitchen remodels. So welcome, Julie and Nancy. I will let you take it away. Julie, can you unmute? Okay, you've got it. All right.
Hi, Julie.
Thank you very much for helping. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Tell me where you're located.
I'm actually in North Carolina also. I'm in the Chapel Hill area, Raleigh, Durham.
Okay, and how's business treating you?
Very, very busy. So
Yay.
I'm happy about that. I have a lot of inquiries. I've got still lots of projects. Just spoke to someone today about doing, traditional living room furnishings. But I'm getting a lot of requests to do remodels, kitchens and bathrooms mainly. So I have the base knowledge. Used to do it years ago. I can do construction drawings. I have my software ready to go, and I've relearned new software to help me. But I'm trying to make sure that I price myself correctly and know what services that are standard for interior designers to offer and my rates.
What do you consider your hourly rate now?
For my hourly rate for standard design, say living room, etc., is $150 an hour. And I'm very strict with that in that if I'm going to do a living room or something like that, like what you've done, I kind of know how many hours. So I, do my multiplier and say, hey, your living room, I see, how the square footage already is. I see the amount of pieces you're going to need. So I, like you mentioned to your previous person, I ask for the money 50 or even 100% up front. And I offer, I tell my clients one major revision. And my joke is when we're to revision number 72, we have a problem. That lets them know up front that we're not going to be going over this and over again and again. If we do
Right.
that, you're going to pay.
Right.
And so I'm very clear with that. But when it comes to doing construction drawings, etc., and there's that conceptual phase, and then there's the drawing phase, I'm trying to know and to value myself so that I am correct and know exactly how much to charge my clients. And sometimes it's really easy. You have clients who say, whatever you think is fine, and I'll put it in because I don't know. But then you'll always get that client who never told you that they're interested in an old world Portuguese tile. And that comes up and you're like, okay, wait a minute. That wasn't in our initial meeting. Don't necessarily know where this idea came from. And I don't want to have already priced myself out for something, and now I've got something new.
So, Julie, how do you charge now?
I usually do, which I guess you're not going to like this. I usually do a flat fee for say you have a bathroom. I'm working on one right now. So I kind of figured it because it's a smaller bathroom and nothing can really be moved. It's not within their budget per se, and the square footage isn't there to be able to move things. So I assumed this would probably take me about 35 hours.
To design and project management and everything.
Yes, and for construction drawings, etc. So, and
what's your hourly rate?
$150.
So for $5,250, you're going to design this bathroom.
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly. It was $5,000.
Meet with them.
Meet with the construction person, whoever they chose. So what I have outlined in my contracts is an initial meeting. Then I send them through the design system, DesignFiles, ideas and of other rooms, etc., to learn their taste. And I've done a little bit of that when I first meet with them. We talk most importantly about budget, so I know where they hope to be. And we sometimes have a little come to Jesus meeting about where they want to be and where they should be. And then I also, I let them know up front what my deliverables are in those first meetings. I tell them how many times I'm going to be at the site, inspecting things. I talk to them about contractors. I don't work with one specific contractor. I give them, if they don't have a contractor, I give them a list.
So wait a minute, let me just, Julie, so what is your question today? Whether you're
Well,
charging enough money?
am I charging enough money? So say for it, that's my level of, I'm curious to know and need to know so that I, going forward, that I am not underpricing what my services are.
So again, let me just share the screen for a second, just to give you an idea of a bathroom. Hold on. So I just switched to the remodel tab.
Okay.
Okay. I still have Lisa's information here. So 200, we would change to 150. I'm going to leave white glove delivery, even though you may not be doing furnishings. What's your tax rate?
Same.
Oh, right. Because you're both
Same
in the
state.
same
No
state.
problem.
I just remembered that. Okay. Remodel. Now, primary bathroom remodel with drawings, we're saying is going to take you, on average, it takes designers 25 hours, but then you may have to then do the pre-remodel planning. If you're actually switching anything around, that would be this category. Then it would be the design selections. If you had done the redesign, or if you've already put in a lot of the hours, that's why this is only 10. But if you're doing no change of the shape and the configuration of the bathroom, you could probably just do the 25 because you're not going to have the extra 10. And then it's about 25 hours of project management for a bathroom.
Okay.
But you guys have to realize that over the years, I have discovered it's very close match between how many design hours it takes and how many hours it takes to project manage that. So that's why plumbing rooms like kitchens and bathrooms take longer, more site visits, more contractors. And for non-plumbing rooms, sometimes it's less, right? So you have to do an autopsy of the past jobs that you've done, how many hours it's taken you, how much you've charged, divide the two and find out if you're really getting the hourly rate you think you're getting. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I feel like you might be shorting
Yes.
yourself a bit.
According to your file, yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, I'm saying averages. We give you the column to put in your accurate numbers. So let's say you're a brand new designer, you don't know your numbers yet. You can use this as a guideline. If you're doing multiple rooms, then you can reduce a little bit, because in each category by itself, we have meetings, right? So if you're doing economies, and meetings are combined to talk about the whole house or the 3 rooms. It depends on, I see someone's commenting 25 hours for project management, a bathroom. That seems high to me. It may be for the type of contractor that you use. But what happens is, now what you would say to a client is, I'm recommending 25 because on average it matches how long it takes you to do selections and design and presentation. But what you say to the client is, I can see it going between 20 and 30 hours. Let's start with 20. You pay in advance. I work backwards from there. And if we need any more, because something has gone wrong in the process that would not have been within my control, I may have to charge you for more hours. Here's the thing, everybody. The way I look at project management is, anytime you're replacing the client, that if you didn't exist, they would have to do it. That's billable. But I do not condone billing them for billing them, okay? Or billing them for you flipping through, Side Door or any of these other places that you like to shop or to look, or to manufacturers. When you go down the rabbit hole, they should not be paying for that. But if you can stay very focused and go, this is exactly what, if I didn't exist, they would have to do, then it's billable to them.
Okay.
So not you setting up your design files. I don't condone billing for that. Not you billing them, like I said, or accepting payments. But if you are calling a supplier, going on their website, this is the project management side I'm talking about, calling the contractor because something didn't go right, walking the site and finding mistakes that are saving them time, money, and mistakes had they done it themselves, those are all billable.
Okay. So that's where you're starting with your 25 plus the 10 that was in your grid or anything else. and just using your own experience over time to know what numbers you need to correctly key in.
Yeah. And I will tell you, though, that these guidelines are great because if you say, oh my God, a bathroom takes me 50 hours, and I'm talking a normal, every single one of these hours that are being recommended, there's a big caveat that says basic, no custom anything. If you have a living room that you're customing a bookshelf, well, then obviously you have to add some hours, right? Because
Sure.
it's going to take you time to design that. So our chart starts out with the basics and what we find to be on average, but you would then change it accordingly for you. But it also helps, like when I work with my clients, my one-on-one or my profit insiders, I can quickly tell if they need to improve their sourcing methods.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, why is it taking you 50 hours to find a living room worth of furniture? And it's because they are not always happy with the first and second selection. They keep going. Maybe there's something better. And like they're falling down the rabbit hole. That's not the client's fault.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Any questions about what I said?
No, I completely understand. And I do like your system because it takes, as you mentioned earlier, the emotion out of it. So
Yes.
you're able to present right away, this is my price. And it allows you to show your clients that you're comfortable and confident.
Correct. And it saves you a ton of time pricing yourself, right? Because I think Leslie and I get a lot of questions from our profit insiders on the helpline. We have a business helpline. It's a walkie-talkie app to both of our phones. And a lot of the times we get that insecurity, like, oh my God, this is a really big number and I'm not sure I can present it. So once I can talk somebody through the mindset of that, and like I said to the last coachee, like, you got to be okay with losing it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If your clients say, well, that's not within my budget, then they're not your clients. And that's a hard lesson to learn.
Correct. And again, I'm glancing at the comments once in a while. And someone just had this morning. They were presenting a $3,500 design fee. And they said, well, what happens when the client says, well, how many hours does that equate to? Okay. When it comes to the design fee, what you say is my design fee is a flat fee for specific deliverables that I've outlined in my proposal. You don't have to answer, and no, they're not going to go and try to calculate. And even if they do, who cares? It's your pricing model. It's your business, guys. I just got to, again, when one of my one-on-one clients left me a message this morning going, you're right. I'm letting the clients dictate my business model. When they say, well, I can't afford that, I'm sitting there trying to calculate, okay, how can I do it for cheaper? As opposed to saying, this is what I need to do the job right. And if it's too much for you, I totally get it. I respect your money. What would we like to pare back on? Or maybe we should consider waiting until you want to save a little bit more money and let's do it right. Right? If you're chasing a job or chasing money, most often it will fall through. If you're confidently going in with this is my value, this is what I can bring to the table. Everybody remember that you're selling the end result. You're selling the piece that they're going to feel by you handling it. And you're saving them time for busy people. You're saving money for them because you're not going to make the mistakes that they may make and end up putting, sofas in their basement and artwork under their bed because they didn't do it right. So you're selling them peace. You're selling them peace that you're going to handle everything for them.
That's great. I like that term, selling peace. I like that very much. That's a wonderful little term. I think I will use that more often.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a matter of when they say, well, that's a lot of money, I don't know if I can afford it. One of the things you can say is part of the reason why you called me is because you were overwhelmed and you are handling everything yourself. And this is why I'm here. That's why you called me. Let me help you.
Great. Thank you very much. This is great. I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome, Julie.
So many wonderful nuggets in there. And I want to mention, we do usually make time for Q&A, but we don't have time for Q&A with this event. So guys, feel free to help each other out in the comments. And, you know, if you have some tips on something, feel free to reply to each other's comments and help each other out. So our next participant is Katie Hilburn. Katie is looking for help setting prices as a team. She wants to figure out a hybrid flat fee and hourly model with her team structure. As for her most desired transformation, she's looking to go from feeling stressed out to full of joy. So love that for you. So take it away, Nancy, and welcome, Katie.
Okay, Katie. So
Hi.
tell me in
Yes.
your words why you're here. What do you need from me?
I actually forgot that I said that about feeling stressed. So it must have come
So
through.
you're
on a
not
hard
feeling
day.
stressed anymore?
Yeah. Oh no, I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So currently I'll kind of give you a rundown of how we operate. So I currently have a team of 4. My business is 2.5 years old, so it has grown an insane amount very quickly, and I have probably changed my pricing so many times from it was just me to now other people that I'm responsible for both paying and billing out. I think that is a source of stress for me. We currently charge hourly. So everything in full service is an hourly model. I typically am able to give a room estimate at the onset, and then I do collect, sorry for using this bad word, a retainer of 10 hours per room up front, just so that I'm not billing the client, so much really quickly. But honestly, monthly billing is like the largest stress of my anxiety, and where I start to see things fall apart, because I think I'm creating a narrative, and it's probably true for the client, that every time they get a bill for me for $2,000 a month, they're rethinking things, or they're stressed, or they're reevaluating if this service is of that value. And it just really gives me a lot of anxiety. And so my goal for a few months has been to transition to a hybrid model. And I filled out that form without knowing that you are an expert in the hybrid model. So I'm excited. But I do have a team, and my team has, again, grown a lot. Like, I hired 2 team members in Q3 and Q4 last year. So don't have a ton of historical data on, I just hired a project manager. Like, I know what time it takes me to do this, but now that we have a fully dedicated team member to that, what are her hours going to be? And we track our time very efficiently, but I just don't have that depth of data to know. And I think after being part of, this session, the answer is I need to buy the key and use your estimates. But
well, no, I mean, yes, of course. I want you to buy the key. I want everyone to buy the key, because I want everyone charging what they're going to need to make money and create joy in their business again, and not be afraid and not pull numbers out of a hat, and not, I hate the square footage model. I'm sorry. I know there's people who use it, and they probably use it very successfully at a very high rate, so you never lose money. But, okay, there's a lot of things here. Okay.
Yeah. So
Number
kind of
one
one of my questions is, how much historical, like, can I start this tomorrow? Or like, what amount of data do I need? Am I just guessing? Like, as an employer, that makes me anxious, because am I going to end up undervaluing that flat, or that hybrid model of that flat fee for design, and then we really go over, and then I'm kind of out the money for that, whereas I feel protected in an hourly model.
Okay, everybody needs to join my group also, the Interior Design Business Forum, because Leslie and I just did a live this morning about how the biggest thing holding you back, and along with other designers, is yourself and your fear. Okay. So the Interior Design Business Forum Facebook group, go join over there, listen to that. But I'm going to give you a mini. There's a couple of things I definitely have to get in with you. Number one, you have a company rate, not a rate per person. Your clients, okay, so you have a company rate, rate?
Yeah, so I changed my rate to $150 across the board, because I didn't want to give the impression that my junior designers or project manager was of lesser value than me, because I train them in a way to be a replica of me, essentially, hopefully.
Stop worrying about what everybody thinks. And literally, it's, you hire my company. We are $150 an hour. I have a feeling you can probably go up, but I would need a much deeper dive with you. You may want to look at Profit Insiders for interior designers, which is starting in February. because
Okay.
you're definitely, many of you, but you're definitely a perfect candidate. But here's the thing. I want you to have a company rate. It probably has to be higher than 150 would be my guess, because now you have staff.
Okay.
You don't change the rate for, well, if it's design work, it's 150. And if it's administrative work, it's 50. And it's just, don't do that. So I'm saying that for other people who may be listening, it's a company rate. Now, if you pay an employee, how much money do you pay some of yours? Give me one rate.
Anywhere from 35 to 50.
Okay, so let's go with the worst case scenario, 50, right? And you charge $150 an hour. So if you divide that by 50, that designer or that employee, you would be trying to get them to work on client files, right? For at least 3 hours a week.
Okay.
Okay. Or 3 hours for every hour there.
Right.
I'm saying it opposite. For every 1 hour they work on a client file, you're billing $150. So you're making $100 for every hour they're working on a client file. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you pay them $500 a week and you want to be able to bill them to pay for that 500, they have to work 3.3 hours on client files, and you have now paid for their salary.
Right. And we
Okay.
do have internal expectations for percentages of billable time versus total time worked. So the expectation is that they would be 75% billable in their week.
Then
And
you're
we
making
have-
money from them even, which is
Right.
perfect.
And we use Harvest, so we've got really good data, and I can look at that, to the minute and see, what their percentages are.
So are you charging a consult fee too when you go out to a client?
I just started, so I do a free discovery call via Zoom, and then I just started implementing an in-person consultation fee of $275.
Okay, it should be
90 minutes.
$350. Change
Okay.
it. It should be $350
Okay.
based on your hourly rate.
Okay.
I want it to be a little higher. It's a standalone service. Sometimes you go in,
Right.
it's all the advice they need, and there you go.
Okay.
So I would change that to $350.
Okay.
And what are your other concerns about your pricing?
So yeah, I think just like how we establish that flat fee when I don't have the depth of data, but maybe I don't need to worry about that, and I can just.
Well, you mean the flat fee for the design side?
Yes.
Okay.
And then being able to properly estimate project management fees. And then unrelated, I also have a question, because I also offer, so currently I offer designer for a day, which is 6 hours. Love that. Don't want to change it. And then I offer an e-design. We have e-design in full service. And previously our e-design was essentially design only, flat fee. We're virtual, designed for clients that are remote, but we do have Houston-based clients that end up doing that service. And I think that they're doing it because they want to pay less money. And so my question is, if we go to a hybrid model, what prevents the client from only wanting to do e-design if they look at the hybrid model of this larger investment? Do I need to eliminate e-design?
Okay, so Katie, I don't call it e-design because e-design has a very cheap, inexpensive connotation.
Okay.
So any of my clients in my group or in my one-on-one, I make sure they call it virtual design, and there is no difference in the design fee. There's no difference in the design fee. So if you're doing 25 hours for a non-plumbing room for a local person, you're doing 25 hours for a virtual person as well. So it's still going to be it's the same amount of time for you, and sometimes even longer, because you have to try to get retail links or use Sidedoor or whatever you're using. So I would change it to virtual design, and you should have no more than 3 or 4 service models on your website. I saw somebody, I don't know who I looked up the other day. I don't think it was one of you guys. They must have had 10 things. And I'm like, how does anyone decide this? I teach designer for a day, designer on call, which is hourly only, which is what you're doing, and then full service design with the hybrid flat fee design, variable project management, plus a paid consult, which could fall into, I just want you to come and help me with paint colors. I just want to come and hear your opinion of the layout of my kitchen. That's a standalone service by itself, right? And if you're charging, what did I tell you to charge?
$350.
So if you charge $350 and had 4 consults a month, that's $1,400 right there
Right.
a month. And you don't have to necessarily do anything if they were standalone.
Mm-hmm.
But then how many of them will turn into full service design?
Right.
Maybe half would be nice, or even one. I like to get everyone to at least a 50% closing rate on their,
Mm-hmm.
consult too. You would be racking up, first of all, consults only times 12 months, $16,800 in just consults.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say you do how many designer for a days, and how much do you charge for those?
Well, I try to limit to probably 2 a month just because we're so busy. I can't really go offline for 6
If
hours.
you're that busy,
multiple
Katie,
times.
you need to raise your prices.
Okay.
So seriously, the way I always meet with all my group people when they first come into the program, I meet with them and we adjust their pricing and their service models. And if your pipeline is full and you're getting steady referrals, go up to 175, test the waters at 175. Your consult should be, in my opinion, 395, so it could stay the same.
Okay.
Okay. Just raise your prices.
Okay.
Right. This is another reason why I tell people, don't put your prices out in the world. Because if you change your price, you don't have to then remember to change it everywhere, and you're not going to get caught. I want you to be able to sell yourself on the phone and then in an in-home consult. And once they really like you, then you're going to have a much easier time presenting your pricing.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. I think it's hard in the luxury business I'm not responsible for spending other people's money. So
that's a mindset. That's a money mindset thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, Leslie, if you haven't done it yet, put the link to apply for Profit Insiders. I would love you to just apply. Applying does not obligate you. So you get on my calendar for 20 minutes so we can talk a little bit more about this. But this is your money mindset. What did you learn growing up about money? What's like a sentence? What is a sentence you remember hearing all the time?
We don't have money. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is turning into therapy. I love it.
It is. This is what I do. I'm a life coach. I'm a business coach, body language trainer. I do it all. But here's the thing. If you heard we don't have enough money, then you're going to feel guilty every time you're charging people money, right? I ran an art consulting firm. I was selling pieces of art for anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000. Wow. And I was buying my artwork at Home Goods because I would never spend that kind of money on art for myself. I ended up investing in some pieces over time, but your money mindset and everyone who's listening is what's driving your confidence to charge more money or charge less money. You're not in charge of someone else's wallet. And here's the other thing. Please, everybody listen to this. Take the word budget out of your vocabulary and call it an investment level. Have you done your research, and would you do you have an investment level in mind for your living room? Do you have an investment level in mind for your bathroom? It is an investment in their lives. It's an investment in their homes. And you want to start changing the way they think about the money they spend. Also, it's not just throwing money down the toilet. It is an investment in the quality of their life. If it's a kitchen and bath, it's an investment in the value of their home also. And if it's any other room in the house, it's still an investment that's worth you calling an investment, not a budget. Budget makes me want to sit on my wallet.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? If you said to me, how much, what's your budget? I don't have a budget. I'm not telling you. I want to know how much you tell me it's going to charge. And then I'm going to decide if I work with you. But if I said to you, Katie, have you done your research, and do you have an investment level in mind for how much you want to invest in yourself and in this project? Doesn't that have like a better feel?
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. So I'm hearing you say I need to check myself and raise my rates and feel confident.
And do a little journaling about your money story, what you heard as a kid, and then what you think. And this is a tough one for a lot of people. What do you really think of very wealthy people? Be honest. And dump that all down. Like when I first did this exercise, I was like, oh my God, they're obnoxious, they're righteous, they treat me like a lackey, they're not appreciative. And then I was like, that's not true. They are who they are, whether they're wealthy or whether they're not wealthy. So let me not give them this label. Let me not be afraid of them. Let me realize they're just regular people, and they either have a nice personality or they don't.
Right.
right?
And then, sorry, one more thing about services. So I'm hearing also that I should just eliminate virtual design entirely, and it should just be
Well, do
you
you get any
hire
business with
for
that?
virtual design.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then why would you eliminate it?
Well, would it just be communicated as a design project? It wouldn't be
We
like the
do
flat
design.
rate would
Yes.
be the same,
Okay,
and
so
you
this is
can
the way I
do
teach everybody. You get on
okay.
the phone, you listen to their request, you say, I have the
Mhm.
perfect service model for you. We have a virtual design only where you've given us some information. We spit back out a floor plan and suggested things for you to purchase. That is something that we do, and that service is 25 hours times your hourly rate, right?
Right.
That is $5,000, and I'm just riffing on that. We need $2,500 to get started and $2,500 3 days prior to us delivering it to you. And we deliver it via Zoom so we can discuss
Mhm.
it quickly. And that includes, or doesn't include, it's up to you, 1 round of revisions,
Right.
2 rounds of revisions, or no revisions.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
my
set
virtual
your
design is
policy, Katie,
way
and then you,
underpriced.
yeah, you're underpriced. You're
Yeah.
trying to compete with these places that are going out of business right and left. You don't need
Yeah.
to compete with them.
Okay. That was
Okay.
really
Was
helpful.
this helpful? Okay.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome. Nice to meet
Yay.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, thank you so much. That was really awesome. So much in there. So much in there. This
I feel like
replay,
yeah, these are full
yeah,
coaching sessions in speed
yeah,
mode, which is
yeah.
great.
This is fantastic. This replay is going to be amazing. I have a feeling that even people watching us live are going to want to go back and watch this replay. So our next participant is Audra Simnotra.
Hi,
Audra is ready to update her pricing and weed out less than ideal clients. She had a couple of unideal clients last year and thinks her pricing is partly to blame. She would like to have a successful business while still being accessible and serving a non-luxury market. And I do want to mention to everybody watching with us, this is our 4th and final participant. So we will be wrapping up our event in around 15 minutes. So stick with us and welcome Audra, and take it away, Nancy.
Hello, Audra.
Hi,
Nice to meet you. Where are you located?
I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Nice. Okay. Do you have any questions after all the information I gave them? Tell me about your situation.
I really enjoy those. Mine is maybe a little different. I started my business last year, and that's also when I started my design work. So all of the first projects I ever did were like under the umbrella of my company. And I did a lot of friends and family. So I was just charging really low rates and brought my rate up to $100 an hour for now.
Okay.
I imagine I'll keep climbing until I kind of find a good spot, but that's where it sits right now.
Do you have anyone who says no to you? So they call you or they find out you're a designer, do you do a paid consult?
I do. That's 200, which I think is also gonna need to climb.
Yeah.
So I had a client last year, and it just turned into, I think she was completely like the wrong fit. And I think it's because I have too many people coming in at that price point. So, but here's the other thing. There's a lot of, I'm not like a licensed interior designer, which is great with me, but there are a lot of them in this area. So I want to kind of try to find a niche in a spot where I can serve people who want like a la carte, but I also want to be able to serve people who want full service. And I've gotten a mix of calls about different things, and I'm sure that eventually like I'll find a niche and like a spot that I really enjoy, but I'm just exploring that for now and wanting to keep it open to like the a la carte or the full service, and keep that spot where I'm not like luxury and I'm not, too high end. But I think this price point is just causing some trouble at the same time.
Certainly is. So what's your goal for yourself 3 years from now? What do you want your design firm to be like? Or just a solopreneur? Do you want to have a staff? What is your vision for yourself?
I have a toddler, and I think part of this is like definitely for lifestyle balance. I'm not looking to start an empire. I kind of want to just keep this going myself and be able to control how many projects come in, I mean, maybe I could see hiring some kind of virtual assistant to help out, but I'm not looking to conquer the earth with this at this point.
Okay, so it's even more important for your prices to be adequate, because with the time, let's just pretend you had 20 billable hours a week, 20 hours of non-billable hours working on your business. Okay. And just for all those who are listening, it's actually quite skewed the other way. It's more like 70% working on your business, 30% billable is on average what people do. So if I calculate $100 an hour times 20 billable hours, if we could really fill up your pipeline, which may be the case now, that's $2,000 times 52. Wait, did I do that right? We say 20 hours a week times $100 an hour, 2,000 a week times 50. I'm going to do 50 weeks because I'm assuming you take some vacation. That's $100,000 at the top level of your business for design fees only. And then you have expenses that come out of that. If we just change your hourly rate to 150, you now have $150,000 just for that. Okay. I just want to show you, like, people who are willing to pay 100 are often the worst clients in the world because they are nitpicking everything. The higher you go in pricing, you will get more people who appreciate your service. Will there be pains in the asses there too? Absolutely. There will be, but less of them because they more appreciate the value, okay, of the service, and they understand what designers do, okay? But for you, because you have young kids, how many kids do you have?
One.
Okay, you have a young child, you could put your consult, if you're 150, which I am advising you to switch to, and I know sometimes it takes confidence to deliver that. So if you have to go to 125 first, go to 125 first, and then quickly go to 150 once you sell that often. The way you reduce your pipeline, and what I teach my profit insiders and my one-on-one clients, is less clients, more money. So you can have a life. Right? We're not doing this as a hobby, even though we love what we do. Your business is supposed to support your life, not you're giving your life for your business. Okay. So if you go to $150 an hour times 2.25, which is how I calculate the consult for those who are trying to figure out what I'm doing, it comes to $337.50. I round it up to $350. And your consult is $350. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours. You give great value there, just like I'm giving here. Give freely. If they like you and like what you say, they'll go and look for the service that matches theirs, or they'll get on your calendar to have a 15-minute consult. When you hear what their problem is, or what their obstacle is, or what their project is, then you tell them what is the ideal service model that you provide for them. Is it designer for a day, which is 6 hours, design all in one day? Is it designer on call, which is just hourly, paid in advance, working backwards from there in the minimum of 20 hours at a time? Or is it full service design, where we talk about the hybrid model, flat design fee and variable project management fee? Like, that's what I would recommend to you. Set those up as your 3 primary service models, because almost anything you're asked for can fit usually into one of those.
Okay. And then would you keep the same? Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that makes sense. It's like, how do I get rid of some of these clients? And it's like, we'll just become less affordable and accessible. That's very obvious. Okay, thank you. But it's helpful to hear.
Yes, no, raise your prices so that you eliminate the tire kickers and the people who don't like to, who are just looking for somebody cheap, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. You're selling yourself as an inexpensive designer, and it doesn't matter. That's what I wrote down. It doesn't matter that you don't have a degree, except to the designers who have a degree. And then sometimes they have a pet peeve about it, but no client has. If I ask 1,000 designers, how many have ever been asked whether they have a degree in design? Very few people have been asked. So don't feel self-conscious about the fact that you don't have like as much of a degree as maybe you want. Didn't you say you don't have a lot?
I just don't have a design degree.
Okay. So, but you are good at what you do?
Getting there, yeah, better and better.
Okay. So I remember when I first became an art consultant, I knew nothing about artwork. And I look back at those jobs now and I go, oh, I can't believe people paid me for that. But they were happy. It's not like I did a terrible job. I just didn't do the job that I knew I could do 10 years later looking back.
Yeah.
But we all start somewhere, and $100 is too low. One of my, she's one of our greatest success stories. Leslie will agree. We have a woman named Jill in one of our groups, and she was, I swear, so resistant when she came into the group program. And she was thinking like, I can't raise my price. I live in Pennsylvania and I'm $95 an hour and no one's going to pay me more. And I really felt that strong from her. Oh my God, she's rocking and rolling, raised her prices, keeps raising her prices, is only starting to get the clients that value what she does, eliminated the old clients as they closed. If they wanted to go to another phase, then she was like, I just want to let you know, and this is wording for everybody, if you raise your prices, how do you tell your clients in between phases or at the end of a contract that they want you again? I just want to let you know that I've modified my business model since we last worked together, and now I do it this way. And they either accept it or they don't.
Would you keep the same rate for all kinds of work? Like if I wanted to do like an a la carte designer for a day versus like the full design. I like having the variety, but would you have the same hourly rate for both types of work?
Designer for a day is a flat fee. It's not,
Yeah.
it's meant to be a VIP day. We sell the contract, and with the contract comes videos on how to like execute it. But designer for a day is 6 hours. It's a VIP day. Audra, if I came to your office and spent 6 hours with you, would it cost you more money?
No.
If
Okay.
I came to your office and spent 6 hours with you, do you think it would
Yeah.
cost you more money because I'm coming to your home and spending 6 hours with you?
It cost me the same if I was doing design work, right? Like it's still the same.
So when you're with somebody for 6 hours, you can't take any phone calls. You're not at your computer.
Okay.
You're not running a load of laundry. You don't have something on the stove. You're not stopping for errands on the way home from your design searches and your design showrooms.
Sure.
You
Okay.
are 100% focused on that person, and the only phone calls you can take are from doctors and children, right?
Yeah.
That's a VIP experience.
Okay.
You are their personal designer for the day, helping them find their credit card, your expertise. That is a VIP day. So designer for a day, I recommend you're charging, depending on where you're located in the world, anywhere $1,500, $1,800, or sometimes $2,200.
Okay.
So the hourly rate does not apply to that VIP service.
Okay.
Okay. And you think about the speed that you're doing it, so someone doesn't have to wait 6 months, if they're lucky, for furniture. They're just getting it right there, whatever you're telling them to buy. So that's a personal shopping type service. Not all designers want to do it. But let me tell you something. If you're in Tampa, you could easily charge $1,800 for that service. You do one a month, $21,600. No furnishings coming out of that, nothing. And that's just adds to your bottom line.
Yeah. Okay.
So right between that, paid consults, designer on call, which is just hourly, charge them a dollar amount, work backwards from that, or full service design, which is the hybrid. Plus, nobody's even asked me about margin on furnishings, right? So plus you're making margin on furnishings if you're buying from interior design resources. When you put all this together, Audra, you're going to make a good living, right?
Thank you.
Right? So I mean, that's really the goal. I mean, what is your goal financially in a year?
I'd love to make 75K like this year, which may sound not super high, but
No,
it would
that's
be
okay.
big. It would be like great. It would be really great for me. Yeah.
If you can make 75 grand net, and again, one designer for a month, 21,600, plus your consults, you're eking up, and then you get a designer on call, 20 hour, 40 hour, 50 hours. You start piecemealing all these things together. The key for everyone who's listening is only sell the client what they need. Don't go in going, I'm going to sell a full service design because that's what I really want and that's what I really need. What happens when you do that is then you kind of shut down and you don't end up being a really good listener and understand what that client really needs. And I've seen it, I've witnessed it. I have, as an art consultant, been with designers in people's homes, listening to them and going, oh my God, no, tell them not to say that. No, don't do that. Like, you want to make sure you're a really good listener. So you can say, this client really needs me only for this. So I'm not going to try to sell them more than they need, because then that's not going to work. I'm going to sell them exactly what they need, because then I'm more likely to have success.
Okay.
Okay. Any other pricing questions? No. Any other questions in general for me? I feel like you're like kind of like in shock or thinking mode.
No, yeah, no, I'm great. I think this was really helpful. It's really nice when somebody says, just like, raise your price to this. It's very
and
direct.
I do that. This is the best part. My Profit Insider group program, we're starting one in February. I got 16 applicants. When they come into the program, I have one session with them. The first session, I redo everybody's pricing and I redo all their service models, and they start the program knowing where their starting point is. And then it only gets better from there. So that's exactly the way I do it on my other sessions as well. So I'm glad I was able to help you.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome, Audra.
Wonderful. You got to have that strong foundation, right?
You do.
So thank you so much to all of our participants for coming and, sharing their questions and being so open. And of course, thank you so much to Nancy for all of this awesome advice. Nancy, I know you have a free resource to share with our community, and that's your job profitability analyzer. Yes. I've pinned it in the event page in Facebook. So when you're watching this video, there's like an event page and the video will be at the top. You scroll down just a little bit, there's a pinned comment where you can find the job profitability analyzer. And you can also go to Nancy's website, which is nancyganzekaufer.com, and click on interior design resources in the top left corner. So Nancy, can you tell us a little bit about that job profitability analyzer and what it does?
One of my most downloaded items, my most downloaded free items. It'll tell you, you had the Smith job, you're done with it. Now you go in and you say, how much did that client pay me in entirety? Every penny, from consult to last penny. Then how many expenses did I have related to that client? How much did I spend in furnishings? Did I pay any contractors out of my own pocket? Did I get any money from a contractor, right? So we just say, fill in all these. Mm-hmm. And then boom, the second page calculates how profitable that job was for you. And if you tracked your hours and the hours of your staff who work directly on that client, you can put in the hours and it'll tell you how many hours how much you actually made per hour. And I'll just tell you one story. I had a client who came to me, a very high end, and I said, how much do you charge an hour? And she says, oh, I'm $250 an hour. I said, okay, great. So she was in a high-end area. We did the profitability analyzer with a couple of her clients, past jobs, and she was literally at $50, 55 on one, 60 on the other. And I'm like, how about we lower your price to something that you actually feel comfortable about charging, because she was giving up so many hours, feeling guilty for charging them for certain things because her hourly rate was so high. So I would rather her lower her hourly rate and charge for every 15-minute interval as opposed to not charging. And we switched her to that, and she was so much more profitable that year.
Yeah, amazing. All these little tweaks that make a massive difference.
Yes.
So thank you so very much again, Nancy, for all of this awesome, hard-hitting advice. Thank you to everybody for joining us live and watching the replay. Nancy, we will see you again. We'll have to do another awesome event with you at some point, hopefully this year. We always love having you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And I'll try to go back when I have time and look at some of the comments. I know Leslie's done a great job of answering people for me, but I'll go in and weigh in if I can on anything as well.
All right. Awesome. And guys, we will see you all next month for a workshop on branding. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.